Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the business meetings for the City of Prattville this evening. We will have one public hearing tonight, and then we will move into our regular council agenda. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll for us, please?
Councilor Sanders. Here. Councilor Jackson. Here. Councilor Chambers. Here. Councilor Merritt. Here. Councilor Whaley. Here. Councilor Stritchett. Councilor Boone.
Here. Having the quorum present, I will read in public hearing item number 1. Number 1 is a resolution, and it is to authorize the mayor to have overgrown grass and weeds at 243 West 6th Street, 1683 Rambling Brook Lane, 103 Grayland Drive, 1322 Huey Street, 104 Oakland Drive, 1259 Cooper Avenue, and 101 Kingswood Drive abated, and charge any incurred expenses for this abatement process pursuant to Chapter 46, City of Prattville Code of Ordinances. Is there anyone present this evening that wishes to speak in favor of public hearing number 1? Is there anyone present this evening who wishes to speak against public hearing number 1? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. At this time, I will invite you to stand for our Pledge of Allegiance and our invocation, which will be given this evening by Councilor Chambers.
Would you pray with me, please? Lord, we want to thank you for bringing us together tonight. We're grateful for the chance to serve the people of this city and to work side by side as neighbors and friends. Help us to remember that we are sons and daughters of yours, called to walk in unity, to treat one another with respect, and to seek what is best for all. Give us wisdom in the decisions we make, patience when we disagree, and compassion for every person we represent. As we leave this place, may we carry your peace, your guidance, and your love into all that we do for our community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll for us, please?
Councilor Sanders. Councilor Jackson. Here. Councilor Chambers. Councilor Merritt. Here. Councilor Whaley. Here. Councilor Stritchett. Councilor Boone.
Having a quorum present, I do call our meeting to order. Our character trait of the month is humility, acknowledgement that achievement results from others' investment in life. At this time, we have an opportunity to approve our minutes from the public hearing and the City Council meeting, which were held on August the 5th, 2025. Do we have a motion to entertain our minutes? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by a like sign. And the minutes are approved. At this time, the council will welcome comments from persons present regarding tonight's agenda only. We will have a second comment time towards the end of the meeting that will allow us to speak on anything. But at this time, if you wish to speak on something that we are voting on this evening, we ask that you do line up against the wall on this side, that you will sign up your name and address on the podium, come forward, state your name and address for the council, and you will have 3 minutes to address us. Yes, ma'am.
John Lee Finnegan, 211 Deer Trace. I'm going to be talking about resolutions 1 and 2 on the regular agenda, the Alexander Seal Coating and Striping or Stripping Incorporated. And I went back and did a little digging, and I found out that within just a little more than 5 months, you are, including tonight, you will be awarding $2,413,492.50 to this company. And 3 of those were public works that were under 100, but I find it interesting that it's so close. The first one was the turn lanes at Pratt and Main. Again, public works under 100,000 don't have to be bid. So that one was $91,548. Then we had the Pratt Pool parking lot. That's $90,535, and then of course tonight's the sanitation parking lot improvement, $99,082. And I just find it a little concerning that I realize that they're probably very good in what they do, but that's a lot of money to be awarding one company in a little over 5 months. So I hope next time that, at least you'll check out and, give, I hate to say give other people a chance, but I was very surprised about how much money you have awarded them in, like I said, a little over 5 months.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please come forward. You will have 3 minutes to address the council. And state your name and address, please.
Jackie Nix, 706 Running Brook Circle. I am looking at consent agenda item 14, and I realize this isn't a dialogue, but I'm a little confused. This is to grant permission of the American Legion Post 122 to collect parking fee at the sanitation parking lots on Doster Road. If these are city-owned parking lots, why are we not allowing parking fees going to the school rather than to the American Legion? And I would just like to have a little bit of clarification, if you're able to. I realize this isn't a dialogue, but that question had come up, why we're doing that instead of having it go to the school. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Mayor, do you have a report?
Yes, ma'am, I have one moment.
Certainly.
Thank you. Good evening, councilors. Just want to update everybody and remind them and inform them that our Prattville Fire Department had 11 students who started paramedic school yesterday at the Public Safety Building, and 4 others are receiving this certification at other schools around the state. This education is vital to the future protection of our city and those who live, work, and play here. Over 75% of our calls are EMS related. With this class, we're also partnering with the Montgomery Fire Rescue and hosting 2 of their own paramedic students. On the same note about first responder training, I anticipate that our Police and Fire Training Center will be getting a temporary CO tomorrow. This project was funded from a public facilities bucket from the 1-cent sales tax. This is a $4.2 million project that will train and educate our public safety team and bring others from around the country to train in this facility. The first week of September, our police department is hosting an investigative class on financial type crimes that is geared toward patrol officers. Over 38 officers are signed up from departments all around the state. The third week of September, our Prattville Fire Department is hosting a swift water rescue team that will have a full class of 25 firefighters from around the state as well. Most of the individuals attending these trainings will lodge, shop, and dine in the Prattville area over the course of each week. This facility and these classes are not only help making Prattville safer, but it's equipping our first responders from around the country with education to make their community safer. Councilor, have some good news and bad news. I think we all know what that means. We have paving coming, and I'm actually glad to hear that we've been putting a lot of money into our infrastructure and asphalt paving and our parking lots, because those are so important to all communities. But with your support on agenda item resolution number 1 is to award the bid for another local paving project. This is the same paving project I brought to your attention at the last council meeting. This project will include the paving of Northington Road, in which we also received $338,000 from the Rebuild Alabama Act. This money goes to this project. This project stems from a city-county maintenance agreement where the city of Prattville is the lead applicant on this one. And a couple other projects that we have had been in the hopper and working on, and I think everyone knows where our Guardian Credit Union is, right behind the Whataburger. That used to be a cul-de-sac. We have now punched through that way, and it's actually have egress, ingress from the back street all the way up to Fairview Avenue there. So just one of our other projects that's coming to fruition as well. Another project we'll be working on later on this week, right at the intersection of 31 and Main. If you're turning right off of Main Street onto Highway 31, we are working with AlDOT to improve that turning lane to make it longer and more accessible for cars, because that area is stacked up many times, but it will improve our traffic flow. We've had so many other projects over the recent years that have really improved the traffic flow around Prattville, and very proud of that as well. One of our next ones will be our Laney Road project, and I'll mention that here in a little bit. But also with your support in resolution number 2, we'll be making sanitation parking lot improvements that will also provide parking for Stanley Jensen Stadium. This project is scheduled to start tomorrow, so we'll be ready for Friday Night Lights next week. Our Meet the Lions, I believe, was well attended and filled with so much energy. And I don't know if District 6 would like to make a little comment on that, a little bit off the cuff, but I know you were the MC there, but and I know we had so many of our counselors there that you could definitely see and feel and really even touch the energy there, I believe. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, it was a great night. Ton of our community was there. They held out through the rain delay. We started an hour later because of the weather, but everyone seemed to come back, and had a great crowd. And from City League all the way up to the high school kids, it was great to see so much enthusiasm from our citizens.
Most certainly, most certainly. I tell you, and again, our meeting lines was well attended and filled with that energy, and it shows once again how athletics and extra activities build friendships and relationships that truly, truly last a lifetime. Counselors, in my opinion of athletics and academics, it has changed over the years, evolved. I once saw them as separate but equal, but today I know that they are connected. When I speak of athletics, I mean more than just sports. I include our band, our cheerleaders, our performing creative arts programs. Just about anything gives our students a chance to grow. These experiences teach discipline, perseverance, teamwork, and creativity, while academics builds knowledge and creative thinking. Together, they form the foundation of well-rounded young people prepared to succeed in every aspect of life. I also like to update each of you on what we're nearing completion on the engineering design for what I talked about earlier, the Laney Drive extension. That is the road right behind the Chick-fil-A and Starbucks, right the new one over on Fairview Avenue. And we'll bring more information as that comes readily available. Counselors, I want to thank, it is my opinion we should review our Project Prattville, the 24 comprehensive plan. It has been 5 years since the plan was published, and I think this plan being developed during the pandemic, when there's a lot of challenges. I know some of us were at all the meetings, but I think in the next year's budget, we need to set aside some funding for advertisement and be able to update this, and because there's been a lot of challenges and changes since the pandemic. But so I hope I'll be able to get that in the budget. Counselors, I have some good news on the city council chambers. The contractors plan to have us relocated in the space and time for the election next Tuesday. Meetings in September shall be able to relocate back into City Hall. There may be a few items that are finishing up, but the contractor believes those will be minor in detail and will be back operating in City Hall. Counselor, as well, next week we are honored to welcome our Congressman Palmer to our community. His visit will include a stop at our James Hardy manufacturing facility, an industry leader that continues to invest in Prattville, provide quality jobs for our citizens. As the Congressman tours our community, he will likely travel across the bridge that many at one time once referred it to as a bridge to nowhere. Today, that bridge stands as proof of the value of vision and partnership built as a joint venture between the City of Prattville and Watauga County. The bridge opened the door to industrial development, making it possible to attract companies like James Hardy and the upcoming Project Magnolia in our South Industrial Park. The bridge required the city to borrow funds, and while we still owe approximately $1.3 million on this investment, it's listed on our debt balance sheet as South Industrial Park improvements. It has already proven to be one of Prattville's best investments. Some of the other ones that I've talked about before have been the sewer line to exit 179 or the Holiday Inn exit. And I think the other investment that Prattville did that has paid dividends for many, many years has been the Robert Trent Jones Golf Course. But with some of these questions is when what some once questioned has now become an economic driver, creating opportunities, jobs, and growth for years to come. You know, this is a powerful example of how targeted strategic investments, what we call good debt, build long-term value for our community. And counselors, Prattville continues to experience growth investment in business sectors during the second quarter of 2025. The City of Prattville has seen another 10 businesses open their doors to customers. These 10 new businesses, 8 are located in Watauga County and have injected an additional 115 employment opportunities nearly $40 million in capital investment into the economy. And as I was walking just the other day with my four-legged fur baby, I actually had an investor stop me and say his project is on track and he's ready to make an announcement in the near future. So we have some more investments, partners of Prattville's coming. One reason why it took me a little bit to get up here, I did want to write down a little footnote here about responding about the parking, if I might. The Board of Ed or Athletic Department for Prattville High School has decided not to charge for any parking around any of the stadium. But there's some need for management of two locations. One is the Grove, where we have our farmers market. It's a fenced-in area, and the church is on the agenda as well for them to be able to charge $5 and manage that area. So that is been discussed with our superintendent, athletic director, and they're all good with that. The other one is is also on our agenda about not only the paving but also the parking. That is where it's going to be a partnership with our American Legion, and this parking area that in question is in front of our sanitation department, our public works, and the area that it's in, that needs to be, really have some eyes on the ground at all times to make certain there's not any vandalism on our cars. So the American Legion is being gracious enough to manage that area, even though it's not in front of or beside their buildings. But Madam President, that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Do any councilors have any questions or comments for the mayor at this time? Yes, sir. Mr. Whaley.
So just to make sure that I'm clear and that everybody's clear that has asked questions. So this is I understand they're going to manage it, make sure that cars are parked appropriately, it's not overcrowded. They're going to be there to watch the vehicles during the game and then make sure everybody gets out. So is this like a fundraiser for them?
I guess you could call it a fundraiser, but now I'm not going to say that they're going to help people get out of the parking lot. Now, one of the things that we are doing, we've spent a lot of time with our city engineer and some of the staff with the high school. See if I can explain it in a little quick moment here. The area that we're talking about across from our public works, some of that should be paved if everything goes right. They're ready to start tomorrow with council approval. So that one will be striped by that time. The other portion of the property will still be grass. So the plan there is to stripe it and actually have egress, ingress. There's also highly identifiable. There's also some plans that whenever the football game is over with, everybody that's on the American Legion side has to go out Industrial Doster Road. Mm-hmm. Everybody on the Pond side will go out toward Main Street and Washington Street as well. The Grove, as I mentioned earlier, it will be striped by our city staff as well, because we're trying to maximize the parking in all this area. It is my understanding that the asphalt area between the stadium and the Gillespie Center, that will be utilized by the football, or by the athletic director and associates as a VIP parking and also a tailgate area, I believe is what they're calling it. One other partnership that we are having with the athletic department is that around the kindergarten, all the way around it, we will have some parking striped either in the grass, on some of the dirt or the asphalt, whatever they might have. So we're trying to maximize the parking and make certain, and matter of fact, we're probably going to print off some sheets for some of the parking attendants to hand out when they're around the kindergarten, the old kindergarten. So that way people will know that when they're parked in there, they cannot come back out the way they're coming in. And that way it would be, we're trying to have some organized chaos, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Well, I mean, any effort that we can make to make parking better in that area is definitely a plus. My only other question would be, if these entities are managing the parking of the cars there and keeping the funds that are coming in from that, can we ensure that they're responsible for cleaning trash up in the lots afterwards so that city forces are not having to do that?
We'll ask them. I know they are supposed to, and I haven't read all the documents yet, but I think they are supposed to give us a report on that one. That's how
Right,
it's been in
I
the
saw that
past.
they would give us a report on the
Okay,
amount,
okay.
but, if they're going to keep the funds and it's a fundraiser for them, I don't have an issue with that, other than I don't think it's fair for city forces to have to go out and clean up a whole bunch of trash when they're charging people
Right.
to park. So that should be a part of it.
That's a good point made. I will say after a lot of the games, I haven't really seen a lot in this area, but I'll certainly be glad to include that in there as well. But all in all, I'm gonna say that we're probably gonna be adding definitely way over 100 additional parking spots by having this partnership with the athletic department.
Any further questions or comments for the mayor?
Let me add one more, since we're talking about parking. I guess maybe one day I'll be known as the parking czar. We have done some parking improvements to our employee parking lot right beside City Hall, right there on Chestnut Street. It is just a short walk from that parking lot to Stanley Jensen. So I hope everybody will take advantage of that area as well. I think it'd actually help cut down on some of the traffic congestions we might see. Madam President, thank you.
Thank you, sir. At this time, we will move into reports from the council on special committees tonight. Counselor Sanders, do you have a report this evening? Counselor Jackson, do you have a report? No, ma'am. Counselor Chambers?
No, ma'am.
Counselor Merritt?
No, ma'am.
Counselor Whaley?
No, ma'am.
Counselor Strichick? And I have none, which brings us to the report of the state of the city finances. Mr. Oakley is coming forward to share that with us.
Yes, ma'am. First page in your packet's the general fund revenue report, and it shows that we have received $50,244,602 for the fiscal year to date, and this represents a 1.65% increase over the same period in the prior year. The next page is the tax breakdown comparison, and on the tax side, we were down 0.15% when compared to the previous July. Next three pages show the general fund expenses broken down by department, and with 83.3% of the fiscal year complete, we have spent 77.5% of our budgeted expenditures in this fund. Next page is the wastewater enterprise fund income statement. The wastewater fund generated a net income from operations of $358,686 for July. Operating expenses and overall expenses are below budget at 81.5% and 80.8% respectively. Next page is the sanitation enterprise fund income statement. The sanitation fund generated a net income of $86,048 for the month. Operating expenses and overall expenses are both below budget for this fund as well at 81.1% and 77.7% respectively. Next page is the judicial special revenue fund income statement. The judicial fund generated a net income of $31,085 for July. Overall expenses are below budget at 80%. Next page is the bank balances report, and it shows the total of all bank balances citywide at the end of July was $47,267,019. And the final page in your packets, the accounts payable and debt balances report, and the total outstanding AP and debt balance citywide at the end of July was $67,385,107, while the city's non-enterprise fund debt was $36,562,107.
Thank you for your report, Mr. Oakley. Do any counselors have any questions for Mr. Oakley at this time? Thank you so much. Now we have the opportunity to create a consent agenda. Items that could fall on tonight's consent agenda include the following. Resolution number 1, to authorize the mayor to have overgrown grass and weeds at 243 West 6th Street, 1683 Rambling Brook Lane, 103 Grayland Drive, 1322 Huey Street, 104 Oakland Drive, 1259 Cooper Avenue, and 101 Kingswood Drive abated, and to charge any incurred expenses for the abatement process pursuant to Chapter 46, City of Prattville Code of Ordinances. Resolution number 2, to authorize the city attorney to affix the cost for the removal of garbage and rubbish at 518 Boxwood Road. Resolution number 3, to declare the garbage and rubbish at 705 Francis Street a public nuisance and authorize the mayor to abate and charge any incurred expenses pursuant to Chapter 46, City of Prattville Code of Ordinances. Resolution number 4, to set a public hearing to declare the abundance of overgrown grass and weeds at Ridgewood Road, North Memorial Drive, 705 Francis Street, 325 Festival Drive, and 113 Quail Run to be unsafe and a public nuisance and order their abatement pursuant to Chapter 46, City of Prattville Code of Ordinances. Resolution number 5, to declare the garbage and rubbish at 414 North Chestnut Street a public nuisance and authorize the mayor to abate and charge any incurred expenses pursuant to Chapter 46, City of Prattville Code of Ordinances. Resolution number 6 is to declare the garbage and rubbish at 419 Marlette Drive a public nuisance and authorize the mayor to abate and charge any incurred expenses pursuant to Chapter 46, City of Prattville Code of Ordinances. Resolution number 7, to surplus a 2017 Freighter M2 street sweeper from Public Works. Resolution number 8 is to surplus various items of personal property from wastewater. Resolution number 9, to declare the garbage and rubbish at 402 Summerhill Road a public nuisance and authorize the mayor to abate and charge any incurred expenses pursuant to Chapter 46, City of Prattville Code of Ordinances. Resolution number 10, to declare the stagnant water at 105 Griffith Avenue a public nuisance and authorize the mayor to abate and charge any incurred expenses pursuant to Chapter 46, City of Prattville Code of Ordinances. Resolution number 11 is to declare the garbage and rubbish at 105 Griffith Avenue a public nuisance and authorize the mayor to abate and charge any incurred expenses pursuant to Chapter 46, City of Prattville Code of Ordinances. Resolution number 12 is to declare the garbage and rubbish at 410 Highway 82 Bypass East a public nuisance and authorize the mayor to abate and charge any incurred expenses pursuant to Chapter 46, City of Prattville Code of Ordinances. Resolution number 13 is to adopt a transportation plan for fiscal year 2026 as required by Act 2019-2 for the Rebuild Alabama Fund. Resolution number 14 is to grant permission to American Legion Post 122 to collect a parking fee at the sanitation parking lots on Doster Road for the 2026 Prattville High School football season. Resolution number 15 is to grant permission to Sovereign Grace Church to collect a parking fee at the Grove for the 2026 Prattville High School football season. Do I hear a motion to create this consent agenda? We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor of creating said consent agenda, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by a like sign. And the consent agenda is now properly before us. Do I hear a motion to adopt this consent agenda? We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. We have a second. Is there any discussion regarding a consent agenda? Hearing none. All in favor of adopting this consent agenda, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by a like sign. And the consent agenda is adopted, allowing us to move into our regular agenda for the evening. Item number 1 on our regular agenda is a resolution to amend the fiscal year 2025 budget and award bid number 025010 to Alexander Seal Coating and Striping Incorporated for fiscal year 2025 local street paving Phase 2 at a total cost not to exceed $802,472.50. Counselor Jackson, will you introduce this for us, please?
Whereas the City of Prattville has a need to upgrade the paving of various streets within the corporate limits, and whereas the engineering department had specifications drafted for said paving project, and whereas 5 sealed bids were received, opened, and read aloud on August 7, 2025 at 10 a.m. in the HR conference room at City Hall, and Alexander Seal Coating and Striping Incorporated was the lowest responsible bidder at a cost of $802,472.50 for said paving project. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the fiscal year 2025 budget is hereby amended as follows. Increased gas tax fund, local paving, $811,120.56. Increased gas tax funds, engineering department grants, $338,432. Decreased capital projects fund, Doster Well improvements, $171,000. Increased capital project fund, transfer to gas tax fund, $171,000. Increased gas tax fund, transfer from capital projects fund, $171,000. Increased general fund business license revenue, $301,688. $301,688.58. Increase general fund transfer to gas tax fund, $301,688.58. Increase gas tax fund transfer from general fund, $301,688.58. Be it further resolved that the City Council hereby awards bid number 025010 to Alexander Seal Coating and Striping Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $802,472.50 for said paving project, and said funds are approved and appropriated from fiscal year 2025 budget line item gas tax fund local paving. Be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution. So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. Is there any discussion regarding resolution number 1? Hearing none. All in favor of resolution number 1, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by a like sign. Resolution number 1 is adopted. Resolution number 2 is to amend the fiscal year 2025 budget and authorize the release of funds for the sanitation parking lot improvement project to Alexander Seal Coating and Striping Incorporated at a cost not to exceed $99,082. Counselor Merrick, will you introduce this resolution for us, please?
Yes, ma'am. Whereas a need has been identified for parking lot improvements at the sanitation parking lot on Doster Road, and whereas Alexander Seal Coating and Striping Incorporated has the expertise to complete said project at a cost not to exceed $99,082. And whereas pursuant to Section 39-2-1 Code of Alabama 1975, as amended, said project is a public works project. And whereas Section 39-2-2 Code of Alabama 1975, as amended, allows contracts for public works projects under $100,000 to be let without bidding. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the fiscal year 2025 budget is hereby amended as follows. Decrease public works capital outlay, $99,082. Increase general fund transfer to sanitation enterprise fund, $99,082. Increase sanitation enterprise fund transfer from general fund, $99,082. Increase sanitation enterprise fund capital outlay, $99,082. Be it further resolved that funds in an amount not to exceed $99,082 for said parking lot improvements are hereby authorized and approved to be paid to Alexander Seal Coating and Striping Incorporated, and said funds are approved and appropriated from fiscal year 2025 budget line item sanitation enterprise fund capital outlay. Be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution. So moved, Madam President.
We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a second. Is there any discussion regarding resolution number 2? Yes, sir. Mr. Whaley.
Just a quick question, point of clarification. So I realize that we do a lot of public works projects that come in under $100,000. And I've asked Paxton this before. I feel pretty good about this because we just had a resolution where we had 5 sealed bids, and this was the same company, and they were the low bid. But my question would be, do we have an internal process where on a public works project where it's under $100,000, are we at least getting prices from other? I know we don't have to do a sealed bid, but are we at least saying, hey, this is our project, what do you do it for, what do you do it for? And this just happens to continue to be the lowest price.
Mr. Mayor, you have the floor.
Yes, ma'am, thank you, and yes, sir, they do. And now one thing that Paxton is looking at changing for the future is to go ahead and try to get a list of pavers or whatever it might happen to be, but mostly he's talking about his asphalt. Go ahead and get a price from them by the, I think, yard or the unit, and have a list of all that handy. But that is one part of the upcoming budget. He's looking to change this a little bit, so that way it'll be a lot more streamlined, because a lot of times when they are working on trying to work out some of the bid information, it is very time consuming and everything. But again, like you said, in this particular one, they've already gone through a bid process, and so we know that it's also a very good company as well. So all in all, I think It's a good project for the community.
I just want to make sure we're being fiscally responsible with taxpayer dollars, and that we have an internal policy that says that we're at least reaching out to other vendors and saying, hey.
Right. Yes, under 100,000, we attempt to get 3 quotes.
Okay.
With today's times, it's very difficult sometimes to get 3 quotes, but we do attempt.
Right, no, I understand that.
yes.
As long as we're reaching out to other vendors
we do.
who can do the same work.
Correct.
And then if it's under 100,000, I understand we don't have to bid it. That's not a
Right.
problem.
Right.
But if XYZ comes in lower than Alexander like next time, but we've never done business with XYZ and we don't know where they're at, where they're coming from.
Right.
I know some of that plays a factor into who we determine is going to do the work. I just wanted to ensure everyone that there is an internal process where we do ask for that information.
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes, and if we got 3, we would go with the lowest of the 3.
Okay.
We wouldn't say, okay, number 2 is a little bit higher, but we like them better. We would go with the lowest, just like the regular bid process.
okay, good deal. No question, no.
Madam President, if I might, before you walk off, would you explain your thought process for the upcoming year?
Right, so trying to get an annual contract, or that's one example of getting an annual contract for asphalt. A lot of county governments do this, some city governments do it. That way, when we do have asphalt needs, we can call on that said contract. It's already bid out in place. A lot of times that's done on an annual basis. Sometimes it's done on a 3-year basis. It just depends. We are looking at doing some of that with asphalt, concrete, and that such work.
Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Reese. Is there any further discussion regarding resolution number 2? Hearing none, all in favor of resolution number 2, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by a like sign. And resolution number 2 is adopted. Resolution number 3 is to authorize the mayor to enter into a construction engineering and inspection agreement with Civil Southeast LLC for the fiscal year 2025 local street paving Phase 2 project at a cost not to exceed $54,800. Counselor Jackson, will you please introduce this resolution for us?
Whereas the engineering department has identified a need for construction, engineering, and inspection services for the fiscal year 2025 local street paving Phase 2 project, and whereas Civil Southeast LLC has the expertise to provide said services at a cost not to exceed $54,800, and whereas Section 3922D1 Code of Alabama 1975 as amended allows contracts to secure services with engineers possessing a high degree of professional skill to be let without bidding, and whereas this is a budget expense in the gas tax fund, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the mayor is hereby authorized to enter into said agreement with Civil Southeast LLC for said engineering services at a cost not to exceed $54,800, and funds are approved and appropriated from fiscal year 2025 budget line items, gas tax fund, local paving. Be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution. So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Is there any discussion on resolution number 3? Hearing none. All in favor of resolution number 3, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by a like sign. And resolution number 3 is adopted. Resolution number 4 is to authorize the demolition and removal of the dilapidated residential structure located at 1259 Cooper Avenue and to award a contract to 82 Auto Parts and Wrecker Services, LLC, at a cost not to exceed $7,100. Counselor Whaley, will you introduce this resolution for us, please?
Yes, ma'am. Whereas the City Prattville Building Inspector declared the residential structure at 1259 Cooper Avenue to be unsafe and a public nuisance on March 12, 2025, pursuant to Section 1153B of the Code of Alabama 1975 as amended, and whereas on March 17, 2025, notice was sent by certified mail to the last known property owners and to all parties having interest in the property, ordering the repair or demolition of the residential structure at 1259 Cooper Avenue within 45 days of said notice. And whereas in Resolution Book 2025A, page 201, on July 15, 2025, the City Council of the City of Prattville declared the residential structure located at 1259 Cooper Avenue continued to be unsafe and a public nuisance, that must be repaired or demolished. And whereas no repairs have been made or permits obtained for the dilapidated structure located at 1259 Cooper Avenue by the expiration of the notice, and the structure remains unsafe and a public nuisance. Therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville hereby authorizes the mayor to take whatever steps necessary to remove the unsafe residential structure located at 1259 Cooper Avenue. Be it further resolved that a contract in the amount not to exceed $7,100 is awarded to 82 Auto Parts and Wrecker Service LLC for demolition and removal of said residential structure located at 1259 Cooper Avenue, and said funds are hereby approved and appropriated from FY 2025 budget line item police dilapidated house demolition. Be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution. Madam President, I so move.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion on resolution number 4? Yes, sir, Mr. Whaley.
I don't want to talk about every single thing up here, but I think it's important that the public know. This is a structure where there was a structure fire that occurred. There's some damage to this house. I have followed this through the code enforcement process. From the very beginning, there's been no response from the people that are the last known owners or the people that are responsible for the structure. You know, it's in a district where we don't normally see dilapidated structures, but it was due to a structure fire. And I think it's important that people know, see that it's not just one area. We are enforcing the code throughout the city. The neighbors here, I've spoken with them, and they are more than glad to see this be removed because of all of the overgrown things around it. And so just wanted to make that statement.
Thank you, Mr. Whaley. Are there other comments on resolution number 4? Hearing none, all in favor of resolution number 4, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by a like sign. And resolution number 4 is adopted. Resolution number 5 is an ordinance to terminate the amendment to Ordinance Book 2020, page 022, Section 5, to temporarily change the location of the meetings. Counselor Strichick, will you introduce this ordinance for us, please?
Yes. Whereas in Ordinance Book 2024, page 027, adopted on December 17, 2024, the City Council amended Ordinance Book 2020, page 022, adopted on November 2nd, 2020, Section 5 of the council procedures to temporarily hold all meetings, regular and special, on the second floor of 124 West Main Street while the City Hall council chambers were renovated. And whereas the City Council chamber renovations are scheduled to be completed at the end of August 2025, now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the temporary amendment to Ordinance Book 2020, page 022 is terminated, and all meetings, regular and special, will resume in the City Council chambers at City Hall beginning September 2nd, 2025. This ordinance shall become effective upon its passage and execution as provided by law. So moved, Madam President.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. By point of order, we must suspend the rules in order to vote on item 5 tonight. Do I hear a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Madam Clerk, will you conduct a roll call vote to suspend the rules?
Counselor Sanders. Counselor Jackson. Counselor Chambers. Counselor Merritt. Counselor Whaley. Counselor Stritchett. Counselor Bean.
The rules are now suspended, so ordinance number 5 is properly before us. Is there any discussion regarding ordinance number 5? Counselor Whaley? No? All right. All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed by a like sign. And this is adopted. This concludes our items on tonight's agenda. At this time, the council will welcome comments from persons present. Anyone who wishes to speak tonight, we ask that you would line up against this wall here, sign your name and address on our podium, and you will have 3 minutes to address the council.
Alyssa Brown, 2022 Summit Parkway. I would like to read directly from Prattville Project 2040. Participants were asked to name one accomplishment Prattville could make that would impress them the most. I see unified leadership, controlled development, etc. Then for some reason, I see quadruple property taxes. Who's asking for that? Maybe you're talking about 4 times the population or talking about taxing corporations at 4 times the rate, neither of which seem likely to me. The people who are struggling to make ends meet are not the ones asking for quadruple property taxes, which tracks with our voting history record. What stands out to me the most is that there are about 6 paragraphs in the entire 150-page document that discuss education funding. We all know that this city council and mayor will make us vote on things they know will fail, and will vote themselves on things they know are unpopular but benefits their own pockets. That way, we can always be blamed for their problems. We're told in Project 2040 that locally grown businesses recirculate 2 to 3 times more of their revenue into the local economy compared to national chain businesses. However, there is a discussion in Project 2040 about the Opportunity Zone program around the Prattmont area, which offers capital gain tax incentives to investors in an attempt to encourage development. Who benefits from capital gains tax incentives? It can't be the local business owners or working class. It's the coastal elites who couldn't care less about our community. The Opportunity Zone program was designed to support underprivileged communities, but studies show they are often placed in wealthier areas instead, which is what we see here. These programs don't require investors to provide benefits to the local community, like local hiring mandates. Prattville had to find extra money for ADA compliance because investors aren't thinking about accessibility, just profit. Most investors are outsiders with this program, as local residents often lack qualifications. So it's no surprise that national chain businesses that sell chicken or coffee or provide storage places and massive corporations like Walmart dominate the landscape of Prattville, which I've demonstrated before don't pay their fair share of taxes. So who is asking for the quadruple property taxes? And whose taxes do they want quadrupled? What alternative programs can we implement that will benefit locals to invest in their communities? It requires reading them more than just the article headline. Too many people making these decisions are more concerned about protecting their property values than actually helping the communities they're supposed to serve. We need representatives who put people before profits. The rest are playing Monopoly with our lives. Some of y'all are talking like you're confident and you already won this election, and it's kind of interesting because do you know something that the citizens don't know?
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir, please come forward, state your name and address for the council. You will have 3 minutes to address us.
Shane Caston, 410 Hallmark Drive. I'm going to start with Mr. Mayor, if that's okay for just a minute. Mr. Jackson seen me Sunday pulling in with Rodney Carroll. I ride with 82 a lot, and he lives right there off of Fairview Avenue. Why is it taking so long to finish that project? We got rocks from one side to the other. It's hard getting rollbacks in and out of there because he has to make that wide turn. Where's that turning lane going to go? The city engineer keeps saying it's wide enough. No, it's not. The longer I keep looking at it, it's not wide enough. We're going to have accidents there. You're going to have fire department responding to deaths there if it goes in there. I'm done with that. Oh, another question. Why do you never mention the rescue squad about the local first responders? As a former member of the rescue squad, you took cert with me. Why do you never mention them? I know the city approves their budget or gives them money from the budget, but why do you never mention them? Do they not do nothing for y'all? They answer tree calls in the city. They answer missing persons in the city, drowning calls, or help the fire department with drowning calls. Are they not good enough to be mentioned? Anyway, I'm moving on to the city council now. Let me say how disappointed, except for 2 members up here, for y'all not showing up at North Highland Community Center for a candidate forum and First Ward AME Church. Mr. Gillespie, you showed up that night. Thank you for showing up. Why did y'all not find it to take 2 hours out of your night to come talk to your candidates or come talk to your constituents? What, y'all think y'all got the election wrapped up? Newsflash, y'all don't. As a citizen of this city, I'm disappointed in the leadership I see sitting here. Mr. Jackson, thank you for showing up. Mr. Whaley, you had I hope you continue to lead on with this council. You're doing a great job. It's sad you got one one elected official that showed up to all three forums that night or for the election. That's sad. I'm waiting for next Tuesday because I hope we get common sense leadership voted in.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir, you may come forward, state your name and address for the council. You will have 3 minutes to address us.
Hey there, Ben Akers, 1235 Bell Lane. I first want to start and just say thank you, regardless of my feelings. Thank you for being in public service. I want to share a brief word relating to our community and education in this final public forum preceding the 2025 election. For context, my first conversation with community leadership regarding local funding for education took place in 2014. My son was 2 years old. He is now about to turn 13 at Prattville Junior High School, and we've seen little to no meaningful change in local funding for education. Not necessarily saying it's the city's fault. I believe it is paramount that we improve education funding in our community as soon as possible. In the same vein, it is crucial that we avoid improving education at the expense of other vital areas in our community. While it may be unpopular to propose another tax, our community must understand that we can't have our cake and eat it too. If we want meaningful progress and nice things, we must be willing to contribute. Clearly, there wasn't enough public support for the recent millage increase vote, but at some point, we have to take a stand to preserve and strengthen our community as a unified front. Note that much of our current 1 cent tax income has been designated. The concept I'm about to introduce ensures that those designations are not impacted, that no single area or department takes a funding hit, and we establish a path forward for education and quality of life improvements. Through development and implementation of this concept, we'd be able to solidify crucial funding to 5 key departments that contribute to quality of life in our community, as the plan would result in roughly the following funding increases stemming from our current 1 cent tax. A 400% increase in education, 11% increase to infrastructure, parks and recreation, and public facilities, and entirely new funding for public safety. This is the draft concept. To modify the 1 cent tax to one of the following funds and to introduce a new 1 cent tax for the other fund. The funds would be first, the Prattville Public Enrichment Fund. 50% would go to education, 25% to public facilities, and 25% to parks and rec. The second would be the Prattville Civic Infrastructure Fund, 50% to education, 25% to infrastructure, and then 25% to public safety, or 12.5% to public safety and 12.5% to the general fund. So let me ask to everyone in the room, if you could spend roughly $1.30 per day to quadruple our city's funding for education while also ensuring long-term funding for infrastructure, parks and rec, public facilities, and public safety over the next 25 years, would you? What if I told you it would simply be paid in very small increments divided up between all of your local purchases throughout the year, contrary to a millage increase? What if a significant percentage of this tax would be paid by those visiting our city rather than ourselves? I believe many of you before me, those in the crowd behind me, and in our city would share in my desire to see our community increase funding for education without sacrificing funding for other core areas for quality of life. I hope that tonight, as the election nears, but also in the days after the election, our leadership will make a conscious decision to act with expediency and wisdom to determine a path forward to increase local funding for education. This community and its families, including my own, need this and need it soon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Please come forward, state your name and address for the council. You will have 3 minutes to address us.
Good evening. Barbara Robinson, 123 White Oak Court, Prattville, Alabama. I'm here on the behalf of our North Harlem Memorial Community Center, and I'm tired of fussing about the park. I guess you're gonna do what you're gonna do, because maybe after the election, everybody gonna be on one accord, hopefully. And when everything that you didn't finish for the physical year of the councils, that y'all will go back and finish up what you started and messed up. Fix what's messed up as well as what's already messed up. My next thing is, I'm concerned about our center. When you repave, to pave the roads up on Wilberforce coming all around, it's beautiful and curving. But what you didn't do, when that water is irrigated, when it comes down and when it rains, it comes across the property. And if it keep raining hard like it did in June, it's gonna be to the point, I don't know, maybe y'all saw that, I don't know, that our building probably gonna wash away. I think it's not, I forgot how many feet over there in that field down. I tried to pull it up, but if y'all pull up 779 on your phone on Martin Luther King, and you can see the center, on the side over there, it's a ditch. And the water is irrigating coming that way, erosion, and we did too much. We had paid for our building. Now, we didn't put that curving and stuff there. Before they put the curving there, they should have put pipes in there. They promised years ago that they would do this in the early 2000s. It didn't happen. Because if I'm not mistaken, I remember one time Mr. Alvin Thomas, they said something about the pipings that they was going to put there. It never happened. They might have put a few, but just not enough. Because if you can, I know if we clean that land off, and y'all come up there, I can show you better than what I'm talking, because a picture is better than 1,000 words. But in order, you need to see it. And it's sad that we don't have the elevation is going to be gone pretty soon if you all don't fix it. And I'm upset. And I don't care who be the council, mayor, I don't care who it is. Whoever come in on 26th next week, they need to be up there looking at that. They be ready to fix that. That need to be on the first agenda. When we come to the city council meeting, I know my time up, I understand, let me just finish this, because it hurts. Stop, whoever, I don't care who it be, don't keep putting some on the agenda and keep pushing it. Don't keep throwing dirt over dirt and digging a hole and you ain't
All
filling
right,
up
Mrs.
nothing.
Robinson, thank you for your time. Yes, sir, please come forward, state your name and address for the council. You will have 3 minutes to address us.
Most people know me by now. I'm Daniel Woodfin. But I go by Woody. I live at 103 Sycamore Drive. I stood up here 2 weeks ago and tried my best to explain to you why I thought your financial documents on your annual report were incorrect. Today I present 2 documents. One of them is the September unaudited general revenue done by a group. The year-to-date on the use sales tax says just over $6 million. I presented another document presented to me through email when I made a public request, and it shows that the use tax is $3.3 million for the year. You're a little less than $3 million difference. I'm not sure why. Daniel Oakley was standing right in here before you. I just laid into y'all 2 weeks ago about your finances. Nobody asked him a question. To me, that's appalling. I don't understand it. But I'm trying to understand how your financial documents are balancing, how they're checking. And nobody has been brave enough to call me, talk to me, address the issue in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Daniel Oakley has not called me, contacted me any way, shape, form, or fashion. I put in a public request for information of which I requested a recorded meeting to go over the financial documents. I presented my 6-minute video of where I explained my calculations on why I thought you were incorrect, but yet I hear silence. All I'm saying is if I'm the village idiot and y'all refuse to talk to me or answer my questions, where does that make you? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Please come forward, state your name and address for the council. You will have 3 minutes to address us.
Hello, I'm Thea Langley. I wanted to speak tonight on the situation regarding the $5.7 million settlement. I made a post either yesterday or today, and I have included clips from the attorney that was representing the land. I put a clip in of the representative of the land, and then I included the vote as well as the commission meeting. And it is egregious. It is egregious that the city of Prattville, we handpick, Mayor, we handpick who we want to be on these commissions. You know, it would be great if you guys, when we're up here talking, if y'all would look at us. You know? Because we're talking about $5.7 million. We're talking about our planning commission that, Mr. Mayor, you handpicked to put on the planning commission. You guys voted to approve them in a resolution at some point over the last 8 years. They met many times. They give you a recommendation. Do not rezone that property. Number one, the landowner did not want the property rezoned. Number two, your planning commission that is cherry-picked, and that we pay for them to go and have specialized training. The city, you're frowning, but the city pays for that, for them to go and have specialized training to ensure that they know what they're doing. We endorse them as the city of Prattville. You endorse them as the city council. You endorse them as the mayor who put their names up. But when they make a recommendation to you guys, there was also an attorney who was brilliant, who laid out point by point why that land should not be rezoned. I don't know what else you guys need. Your own planning commission, your own city planner. I don't know when the time for dialogue is, but you guys cost us $5.7 million because of arrogance and negligence. And I just want to know, when is the time for dialogue? When do you guys have to explain to us?
Ms. Langley, your time has run out.
Why you made the decision that you made. When is the time for that dialogue? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Please come forward, state your name and address for the council. You will have 3 minutes to address us.
My name is Pastor Jason Beck, 1187 Upper Kingston Road, and I usually don't come to these, and I think it's sad that pastors don't come, but I feel like I was compelled by the Spirit to come. First off, I just want to say, Mayor, I'm appalled at the dishonor in this room towards you, regardless of whether we agree with you or not. Okay? And I know people are not going to agree with that, but if you call yourself a son or daughter of the King, we're called to a different standard. And I'm also appalled that we have allowed this city to let hate, racism divide us. I also think that it's a disgrace that more sons and daughters don't stand up and declare that this city will belong to the Lord Jesus Christ. I also would like to say on the record that as a son, I will continue to pray. I will continue to pray that regardless of the color of our skin, we can come together and that this city can be what we want it to be. I've lived here 25 years. I've heard, we need change, we need change, we need change. And you know what? I agree. We need to change our posture and hit our knees in humility, because the Word of God clearly tells us, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, I'll forgive their sins. I'll hear from heaven, and I will heal their land. And you know what? I'm pretty sure people are going to mock me. I'm pretty sure people are going to be like, oh, he's just this. That's okay. I could care less. And I would like to say this. I don't want to mention any names. But anybody running for candidacy that will stand up here and talk about they will get into the face of one of our authority leaders, or any person that will send a cowardly email to one of our people in our city threatening them with a lawsuit because they can't pull their agenda at an event, shame on you. Shame on you. And then you stand up here and mock these men and women who you have no idea have to go home and carry the weight and the burden of your slander. I encourage you to pray for these people, whether you agree with them or not. If you are a son or a daughter, the Word of God commands us to pray for our city leaders. And regardless whether you agree with them or not, the Lord himself has appointed these people. So, Mayor, I can't speak for everybody, but I honor you, sir. Council, I can't speak for everybody, but I honor you. Bless you.
Thank you for your comments. Yes, ma'am, please come forward, state your name and address. You will have 3 minutes to address the council.
Jane Maddox, 420 Lower Gainesville Road. $5.7 million would have gone a long way to do great things for our ACBOE. Very disappointed in that, what happened there. Again, I'm going to request that these meetings be live streamed. If our IT department can't handle this, then we need to replace them. Number 3, I think that any time that the ink has dried on a contract with a company, a new company is coming in, there should be a link on our website that lists the name of the company and the location, so that we have the opportunity, without going through social media, to find out if there's a new chicken place or coffee place and people making fun of the Dollar Generals, that we can be informed without that process. And I called actually one day and asked, it's been a few months ago, I called and asked about some new businesses where ground had been broken. And I was given the information, and it's been a few months ago, so I can't remember exactly who I talked to, but it was a young lady. And I mentioned that to her, that we really need, for the city really needs to have a link on their website so that we can see what's coming, once that confidentiality is, that period is over. And she made, I'm not sure, remember what the comment was, but I asked her, I said, well, is the mayor in today? And she said, no, he's not available. And I said, okay, would you ask him to give me a call? I don't know who that was, but I never got the call. I also called City Hall a few months, and I told the mayor about this. I called on a Friday afternoon to try to get some information. I called 2 or 3 different extensions, and no one answered a phone. So I understand what the gentleman was saying right before me, that we need to respect our leadership, but we need respectful leadership. We need people that listens. And they do. You're not here for your own good. You're here for ours, for every citizen in this city. And that's what I expect. And I want my vote to count, and it will. And I hope everyone will get out and vote next week, because we need, y'all have become too complacent. That needs to be behind us. And we need to move forward with this city. It's a great city. I love it. But I'm tired of the things that I see going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir, come forward, state your name and address for the council. You will have 3 minutes to address us.
Stephen Johnson, 1090 Choctaw Ridge. I'm a retired firefighter, served 25 years with Prattville. We have a candidate running on transparency, accountability, and being humble, yet not being. For transparency and accountability, I want to let everybody know that in 2005, I was roughly 25 years old, and I had a supervisor approach me about building a home for me. I had an estimate from another builder saying he could build me a home, and this gentleman had a new company called Polysteel, and he said he could do me the same home for concrete house for the same money. Well, he didn't. He left me hanging, the house not finished. I had to rely on family and friends to help me finish my home. I sued that gentleman, the contractor, and I sued him for fraud, negligence, misrepresentation, and breach of contract. He filed bankruptcy before the suit was even finished, naming me, my attorney, licensure board, and 30 other businesses in the debtors, and several small businesses in the Tri-County area. Because of the bankruptcy, I was unable to get all that was owed to me through the court systems. My only recourse was to go through the home builder's licenses and pursue that gentleman's license, and they have a $20,000 recovery fund. I I had Judge Fuller ruled against him, found him guilty. I took that paperwork to the Legislature Board. They agreed. They gave me the $20,000, which I'd spend 50% of for attorney fees. I was prepared for that size of a mortgage, so I ended up selling that home, living with family until I could recoup and build another home. I'm not trying to persuade anyone who to vote for. I only want people to know everything about their candidates. I just want to educate everybody and let them know before they vote next week. For transparency and accountability and being humble, Dennis Mullins was not. He was a supervisor, led me down the wrong path.
I'm sorry, I need to stop you there. We're not going to have someone's character talked about up here. I appreciate what you're saying very much, but you are here to address the council, so we're not going to talk about people who are not on the council or are part of our administration. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
And I did not know where that was going, so I'm sorry. Mr. Mullins, please come forward. You will have 3 minutes to address the council.
Dennis Mullins, 521 Weatherby Trail. I want to congratulate everybody on how they did at the forum the other night. I think everybody did well. I didn't get to see anybody. I was the last one to go. I was last man standing in the room, so I think everybody did a great job. I appreciate y'all coming to that forum right there. The questions were good questions. I think the candidates did a good job bringing forth the information to the citizens that were there, so that was a good thing. So yeah, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, except for getting filled by the Holy Spirit, is to file for bankruptcy. It was tough. I don't wish that on anybody. It was a hard thing that I had to do. Decision I had to make. Pride got in the way numerous times. It did. God took me down through there. Well, guess what? A lot of my colleagues that went through a lot of stuff when we had the Great Recession, they're not here right now. Everybody struggles, right? There might be people struggling in this room right now. Might be somebody in this room right here, right now, contemplating filing bankruptcy. It's a struggle. I watched my truck get hauled off. Watched my tractor get hauled off. Me and my wife, we had to go live with my sister Denise in a one-bedroom. Our house was gone. We lost it all. We did. We had to go live with her for a year. One bedroom. But I'm still here. Some of them still not here. In love and memory of Brooks Lazenby, Wayne Johnson.
Again, I will have to ask you, please, let's not talk about the character of other people. Let's just address the
No,
issue.
I'm just saying I'm in loving memory. There's no character. I'm just saying in loving memory. I'm still here. They're not. Because the reason I'm here is, Mr. Beck, I want to thank you for what you said. Because this is why I'm here. To the weak, I had to become weak to win the weak. I become all things to all men, so that by all possible means, I might save some. I do all that for the sake of the gospel, that I may get to sharing its blessings. Because guess what? I'm still here, and I get to help those other ones that get to come to me, that I can help navigate them through tough times, because I've been there. And I'm thankful for that tough time, because it's humbled me. It has humbled me. And what happened was like it's portrayed, but that's okay. I can live with myself. I want to thank everybody. Good luck Tuesday. Hopefully everybody finishes strong, and it'll all be good. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. We'll move into our closing comments at this time. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Just to correct a few misstatements made, the Planning Commission, the City Council does not have any vote to appoint a member of the Planning Commission. And there have been some Planning Commission members that have been on the board for many, many years, at least one way before I even got here. But I guess one other thing I do want to touch base on very, very quickly here, as quickly as I possibly can, the $5.7 million of the property that is known just up above High Point. That project had many, many challenges whenever they came to us, and I've seen this in some other occasions as well. And one other location, just a stone's throw from there, being on the planning commission, and it came here before the council as well to be voted on for zoning. We had a developer come in and said, hey, we're going to build a 55 and over subdivision. So it all got approved. Well, after he got his approval, later on, they decided not to build a 55 and over. They sold it to another company, and so that thought and dream and what was sold to the community for a very worthwhile and needed subdivision, because we do need some more of our senior living, some of our senior subdivisions here in Prattville. But that's just one example, and I'll get back to the property up there that was talked about earlier. That property, whenever it was brought, where the project was brought, it was discussed about building some high-end apartments, and it was supposed to have, by fire code, and Mr. Whaley, help me out if I'm stumbling over here some, there's some kind of mathematical formula that if you're going to have a certain size piece of property for residential, you have to meet 2 access points. I don't know that, I don't understand that math, but it's not just necessarily halfway down the middle. It's got to meet some kind of very unique mathematical formulas by the fire department. Been that way, as far as I know, for decades and decades. The project that was sold to us we were told that it had 2 ways in and out, and they were incorrect. That was with one developer. And then after that went away, because they could not meet that second access point, that's when the property owners came back, and that's when the process was going on to have it turned back to what it was originally, which was business. The company comes in, and they showed us some plans on the planning commission, and one of the things I remember I questioned is, well, where's the second access, because they could not meet that. And that is some of the reasons why that property was changed back to what it was prior to being R4. Moving along a little bit further along, there was a attempt to collect a lot of money from the city of Prattville, and obviously, there, in my opinion, very obviously, the attorneys for the other side came and said, you know, you're not going to win this. You need to get out of this as easy and cost efficient as possible. And that's when the city of Prattville partnered up and decided that they're going to buy it for below fair market value. And at this point in time, we do have several investors who want to come into our community, and we're looking at some of those. So basically, we're looking to put that piece of property to be utilized in the community's best interest. So again, that's some of the facts about that property, since it is being used, the podium is being used as a political stumping grounds. I figure I need to set the record straight. And again, I hope everybody has a great evening, and I hope everybody is very mindful over the next several days, and I hope we can find some way. And I do appreciate you coming down and praying for us, because those prayers really do mean a lot. And I know we have a lot of prayers going around in a very positive way. And I hope everyone can remember, and I mentioned it up here before, we should be able to disagree without being disagreeable. But there just seems there's so many that want to take the low road instead of the high road. But Madam President, I hope everyone has a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Sanders, do you have closing comments? No, ma'am. Mr. Jackson, do you have closing comments?
Yes, ma'am. As we conclude tonight's meeting, our final one before Tuesday's election, let me remind you, your voice matters, and every single vote will be counted accurately and fairly. I encourage all eligible voters to show up on Tuesday and be confident in the integrity of our process. And I say that just because of some issues that have transpired across the state with voter integrity. And Paula, I said last time, you guys, we don't have to worry about those issues here. But I just want to say to the citizens, thank you for your trust and for the honor of serving you. And let's show up Tuesday and let your vote count. Thank you.
Counselor Chambers, do you have closing comments?
Yes, just a couple. Mr. Beck, thank you for that word. I really appreciate that. And I would echo Mr. Jackson, Tuesday, show up and vote. Your vote does matter. And I just wish all the candidates, I know it's a grind, and I'm looking forward to Tuesday. I don't know about everybody else, but wish you guys all the best, no matter how it goes. And just want to throw a little shout out to the Chamber for their forum last week. I enjoyed that and thought Lisa Miller did a great job moderating that. Thank you.
Counselor Merrick, do you have closing comments?
Yes, ma'am. I guess it's going to be a little bit of piggybacking, but I too want to thank the Chamber and for the forum that we had, and appreciate everybody. There's quite a few here tonight that was there, and as I said before, I appreciate y'all being there. I appreciate y'all coming to our council meetings. Your voice does matter. August 26th, your vote matters. It's been an honor to serve this community for the last 3 years, and wish everybody the best, and make it count. Thank you.
Counselor Whaley, do you have closing comments? Counselor Strichick, do you have closing comments? The next regularly scheduled council meeting will be Tuesday, September the 2nd, 2025 at 6 p.m. at City Hall. Change of location. So when you get ready to come next time, don't come here. The lights will be out. The air will be off. Meet us at City Hall, 6 p.m. September the 2nd. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say yay.
Yay.
Opposed, nays. We are adjourned.